This is Gemara Sanhedrin Daf Mem Dalid, and as we begin a new month, the month of Shvat and Rosh Chodesh Shvat, we like to once last year dedicated as Lezchut Aliyas Neshama for Rav Aryeh ben Rav Ya'akov, whose Yarte was 1 month ago, on Aleph Teves. B'siyata Dishmai, all the learning for the month of Teves, culminating now as we enter into the new month, should bring Rav Aryeh ben Rav Ya'akov an incredible Aliyas Nishmasa in Gan Eden Shamayla, as his neshama is elevated closer to the Kisei HaKavod, an incredible Melitz Yesher on for his entire family. As well, we like to dedicate all the learning as an incredible Zchus Refuah Shleima for Tinaik ben Miriam Ahuva B'siyata Dishmaya. We are on the top of Mem Dalid Amud Aleph, the second line, and we're in the middle of discussing the Averais of Achon. Says the Gemara, Chata Yisrael. Yeshua asks, what happened? Why was Klal Yisrael defeated by Ai? HaKadosh Baruch Hu responds, Chata Yisrael. Klal Yisrael has sinned. Based on the verbiage, the lashon of the Gemara of the pasuk, Amar Rav Abba Bar Zav Daf Bishachata Yisrael. Aval Bishachata, Yisraelu. Even though they sinned, there's still Klal Yisrael, a timeless lesson that regardless of all Averos, one is still a Yid. Amar Rav Abba Hainu Damri Inchi Asa Dekai B'nei Chilfa Asa Shemei, and Asa Myrtle, even that standing amongst the willows, still Asa Shemei is called a myrtle, Va'asa Kari Lei, and people still call it such. We continue at the end of the previous pasuk, Gam Avru es Brisi Asher Tzvisi Oisam, and they've broken my bris, which I commanded them, and Gam Lachum and Achirim, they took from the spoils, V'gam Ganvu, and they stole, V'gam Kachashu, and they have denied, V'gam Samu Bechleihem, and they put into their vessels. Amar Rav Illa Mishum Rav Yuda Bar Masparta. Melamed, for this pasuk we learned, Sha'avar Achan al Chamisha Chumshei Torah, that Achan was over on all 5, on the Chamisha Chumshei Torah, Shenemar Chamisha Gams. There's 5 Gams in the pasuk referencing all of Chamisha Chumshei Torah. Continues the Gemara of Amar Rav Illa Mishum Rav Yuda Bar Misap Rasa Achan Moshech Bar Lasai Haya, similar to, we know, the Misnavnim at the times of the Nis Chanukah. Achan, a terrible Rasha, he drew his Arla forward to conceal his bris milah, and he wanted to pretend that he didn't have such. Ksev Acha, it says over here, V'gam Avru es Brisi, Ksev Asam es Brisi Afer. From there we learn that was that which Achan did. Says the Gemara Pshita, if Achan was over Kol Chamisha Chumshei Torah, so Avada, it's Pashit that he was also over. He was also Machalal the bris. Says the Gemara Mahu B'Tema, I would have thought B'mitzah Gufei Loi Pakar, that he didn't do things to reverse a mitzvah. That yes, he did terrible Averos, but that which was intrinsic to his body, I could have thought that no, that stayed. Kamash Malan, that no, he even did such. Continues another pasuk, Chi'asa Nevela B'Yisrael, says the pasuk that Achan was killed. Why? Because he committed an Avala B'Yisrael. Amar Rav Avar Zavda Malamed, Shebal Achan and Naira Murasa, that Achan was Baal, a woman that was already had Erisin that was betrothed. Ksevasam Asa Nevala, Ksevasam Ki Asa Nevala B'Yisrael. Says Gemara Pshita, of course he did if he was over all Chamisha Chumshei Torah. Answers the Gemara Ma'uda Tema, I would have thought Kulei Hai. Such a terrible crime, Leipakar Navshei. He would not make himself hefker, he would not stoop to such a low. Chiddush, says the Gemara, Kamashlan, even that he did. Ravina Amar, continues the Gemara, Ravina says, Dine Kenaira Hamurasa Debeskila. His din, the din of Achan, was similar to that which of Naira Murasa, which was that he got skila. Amle Reish Glus Ravuna, Reish Glus said to Ravuna, Ksivi Yeshua's Achan ben Zarach was a kesav Adras ves Lashon Azav, ves Banav ves Benaise ves Shayr ves Chamayre ves Saine ves Allah ves Kol Asher Loi. Yeshua took Achan, all the clothing, all his items, all his family, his assets, his tent, everything that was to him. Says the Gemara, I don't understand. What was the Aveira that his children did? Answers the Gemara, Amar Le Ravuna responds, according to your reasoning, Imhu Chatam, Kol Yisrael, Ma Chatu. If he did an Aveira, what did all Klal Yisrael do? Says the Gemara, that all of Klal Yisrael was with him. Ella, what does this teach us? That Yeshua took everyone to be executed. They didn't actually receive the Misas Bezdin, but rather Liradaisan, to subdue them, to show them the terrible crime. Hachanami Kedei Liradaisam, that the family didn't actually get killed, they were just brought to witness up close and personal. Says the Gemara, what do they do to Achan's property? Yisru Osamba Ish, they burnt them in fire. Visklu Osamba Avanim, they stoned them with stones. Says the Gemara, Bitarti. They do both skila and sreifa. Amar Avina, Harayu Lisreifa, Harayu Liskila. That which could be burnt was burnt, and that which not was stoned. That would be referring to the gold, the silver. You can't burn it, rather it was stoned. Ve'era Bashalol Adare Shinar Achaz Tevo Masayim Shkalim. The pasuk says, amongst the spoils of those of the Bavel clothing, 200 shekels of silver. Rav Amar Itztala de Milsa. Rav says the garment, the clothing referring to is a cloak of fine white wool. Shmuel Amar Sarbala Disrifa. It was a coat that had a certain type of dye to it. Continues the Gemara, Vayatzikum Levnei Hashem, that what happened, and Yeshua spread them out in front of Hashem, Yeshua came and threw them, through all the confiscated monies that he took back from Klal Yisrael, in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and Amar Lefanov. He says, Yeshua Rebbeinu Shalom, Al Ilati Hareg. For this, says Yeshua, Tehareg, Ruba Shal Sanhedrin. Should the Roiv of Sanhedrin be killed based on the booty, based on the chayrim that they took? Says the Gemara, Tichsev, Vayaku Mehem Anshe Hai Kishloisha Vishisha Ish. The pasuk says that the people of Ai killed 36 men for the army of Yeshua. Vitanya, Shloisha Vishisha Ma'amish the review. The review learned there were actually 36 people that were killed. Was really 36 people. V'aloi in the first medium-sized line. Like 36. Elazeh Yair ben Menashe, rather it's referring to Yair ben Menashe that what? Sheshakal keneged Ruba shal Sanhedrin, that he himself was like 36, was like the Roiv of Sanhedrin. So says the Gemara, Yeshua says to Kadosh Baruch Hu, such an incredible person should be killed based off of this Aveira. Again, not that a Roiv of Sanhedrin was actually killed, but rather Yair ben Menashe was. Amrav Nachman Amarav, in the second medium-sized line, Meidil Sev, what is the meaning of the pasuk? Tachanunim yidaber rosh v'asher yane azois. Says the pasuk that Tachanunim will speak, Yidaber, Rash, will speak supplications. Va'asher, the rich man, Yane Azos, he answers brazenly, explains the Gemara, darshans the Gemara. Tachnuni Yidaber Azem Moishev, Asher Yane Azos, Yeshua. My time. If the reason why we're saying this about Yeshua is because it says, and he spread them out in front of Hashem, Amrav Nachman, that he came and he threw it in front of Hashem, and that's why Yeshua is considered that he's Asher Ya'ane Azois, who was chutzpah, who was brazen, the way that he spoke. But says the Gemara, Atu Pinchas Avid Hachi. Did Pinchas not do the same? Pinchas ve'yipalel v'ata'oter ha'magefa. Pinchas stood up and davened, and the plague stopped. Amar Avlaz ve'yispalel loy nemer. Doesn't say ve'yitpalel, ela v'yifalel. What does that mean? What did Pinchas do? Me'elam eich asa pli lois im koinoi. You know what Pinchas did? He engaged in litigation. He fought, he battled with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tainos, But v'chavtam l'nei he threw it down in front of Hashem, and under the front of Rebbeinu Shalaylam, Aleile Yablu Esim Arba Elmi Yisrael. For this Avera, 24,000 Yidden are going to be killed. As the Apostle says, "V'yu Ameisim B'Magiv Arbam Esim Elef." So ask the Gemara, how are you telling me that Yeshua did this was incorrect? But we find that Pinchas does the same. So says the Gemara, you know where we learn out that Yeshua was brazen, Asher Yana Azos, is from here at the end of the first medium-sized line. Lama Avarta, says the Pasuk, Yeshua says, why have you brought Havir Asam Azaz a Yardain? Why have you brought the people over the Yardain just so we should be killed in the hands of the Amorim? Says the Gemara, what do you mean? Moshe Nami Meimer Amar. Moshe Rabbeinu asked the Gemara, said a very similar thing. That what? Explains the Gemara, Lama Hare Asem La'amazeh. Moshe says to Kadosh Baruch Hu, why are you doing this to the people? Why have you done evil to the people? This is the past week's parsha. Moshe Rabbeinu fighting for Klal Yisrael, being enslaved in terrible labor. So you see, Moshe spoke the same way. So how are you telling me that the way Yeshua spoke is incorrectly? Ela me'acha, rather, Gemara says from here. Velu hayalnu v'anisha ve'ever hayarden. Says the pasuk, and only we have chosen to settle on the other side of the Yarden. That is where Yeshua's words are considered too brazen, too chutzpahdik. Says the Gemara, what was Hashem's response? Vayomer Hashem al Yeshua. Hashem says, Yeshua, kom lach, get up. Darish Rav Shila, Amar Lekadosh Baruch Hu, shalach kasha mishalehem. Hashem says to Yeshua, your Avera is worse than theirs. Ani amarti, I said, that when you cross over the Yarden, you should erect takimu as avodim azois, these stones. Vatem, and you Yeshua richaktem samoch mil. You traveled 60 mil. You went to Har Evel, and then only you created this monument. So says Yashem to Yeshua, you as well are over. You as well are guilty of the same crime. Basar dinafik, after Rav Shila left, Oikim Rav Amar Aleva Darsh Amarayim Darsh Kasher Siva Hashem. Says the pasuk, as Moshe Avdu Cain, as Hashem commanded Moshe Avdu Cain, Siva Moshe as Yeshua v'chanas Yeshua v'lo Hiser. Davar Mikol Shatziva Hashem as Moshe, and he did not do anything less than Hashem commanded Moshe. So says the Gemara, it sounds like Yeshua did everything right. Imkein Matam Lemer Kom Lacha. What's that pasuk referring to? 4 lines to the bottom of Malay. So in the base measures, they respond that Hashem is saying to Yeshua, Atem Garamta Lahem, you caused this to happen to the Yidden. This is what Hashem says to Yeshua about I, Vasisa Ulemalka. They should do to them as was done to Yericho and the king, that take only the animals as the chayrim from the Mechama and nothing, and the spoils, and nothing else. Continues the Gemara, 3 lines from the bottom, questioning that seemingly there was another problem that Yeshua aired. Another time. Yeshua was in Aricha, he looked up his eyes and he sees a man sitting with a sword. Yeshua says, what are you doing? And says that the man went and is fighting with Yeshua and he's a Malach Hashem. And says the Bazar Yomer Loi, Kiani Sar Seva Hashem Atabasi. No, I'm a Sar Seva Hashem Atabasi. Now I have come. Evil Yeshua al Panav. Yeshua falls in his face. Says the Gemara, I don't understand. How's Yeshua allowed to bow? Maybe he's a shade. Says the Gemara in the last line. The Malach says, I'm an angel of God. Maybe he's lying. Even a Malach would never say the Shem Shemayim Livatala. So what happens in this story is Amar Lei. What is the narrative between Yeshua and this Malach, that the Malach says to Yeshua, Amar Lei, Emesh, yesterday, Bitaltan Tamid Shal Ben Arbayim, you mevatel the carbon Tamid, Vachshal Bitaltan Talmud Torah. Famous line, and now you're being mevatel Talmud Torah, and Yeshua responds, Ali Zemi Ambasya, which one did you come from? Was it because of Bittul Carbon Tamid, or was it because of Talmud Torah Amar Lei? The Malach says, Ato Basi, now I have come. Now for the current Aveira Bittul, Talmud Torah. Miyad right away, V'yolin Yeshua spent the night, Balayla Ho, B'teicha Emek. What does that mean? Yeshua went and spent the night engrossed in Torah. Amar Shmuel bar Unya B'Shmei Derav, a similar Josh. Gadol Talmud Torah Yeiser Makravas Talmidim. We see that the Talmud Torah is greater than Karban Shenemar Ata Basi. That's what you've come right now. Once we're on one conversation with a malach, continues the Gemara. Amli Abayler Avdimi. Hi Krabim Arav Amay Mukmisala. What do we do with the following pasuk? Al Teitze L'Riv Mayer. You should not go out to fight quickly. Pen perhaps. Matasa Bachrisa Bahachle Ma'ischa Reyecha. What are you going to do when your friend puts you to shame? Rivcha Rivecha. Excuse me. Rivcha Rives Reyecha V'Seid Achar Al Togel. Fight with your friends, but do not reveal the secret one to another. When you darshan this pasuk, Rav Dimi says, "V'shasham leKadosh Baruch Hu Yecheskel, v'chamer lam Yisrael, go tell Klal Yisrael, Avicha Mayri, v'mecha chites." Your father's an Amayri, your mother was a chites. Amram ruach pas koinis l'nei Hakadosh Baruch Hu. A certain ruach, a certain spirit, says in front of Hashem, Rebbeinu Shalom. What are you saying? Im yavo Avram v'sarav Avram Avinu. Sorry, meaning would come v'yamdu levanecha ta'amr lehem. Would you tell them umachla ma'isam? Would you humiliate them? Rivcha rives reyecha v'soid achar al tagel. Would you say such to them? Says Gemara Miyasei Rishusay Kuli Hai. Is a malach able to speak in such a mannerism? Says Gemara, indeed he's allowed to. There are three names. This malach Piskon, Itrain, and Sigrain. What are these three names? Piskon, number one. He throws words to God in heaven. He covers over our Averais and Sigrain. Once he closes, no one else could come and besiege on behalf of Klal Yisrael anew. Says the Gemara, so that's what happened with that malach over there. Now we go back to the battle, the Milchama of Yeshua and I. Did you arrange your tefillah where you're not in trouble? Amar Avalazar la'ilam yaktim adot tefillah itzal. You should always daven first. Shalom alei lo yektim Avram tefillah itzara bein Beisel ubeina lo nishtayr mi Rishosh Yisrael sardu palit. Obviously Rishosh Yisrael is euphemistic to refer to Klal Yisrael. For now, for the tefillah, nothing would be left. Rishagish Amar Kol Amitz Atzol b'tefillah, says Rishagish, anyone who strengthens himself in tefillah, milmata in loisarim milmata, will have no enemies above. Rav Yechon Amar living back Yish Adam Rachman Sheyakol Ma'amsin Es Kaychai. One should daven for mercy and asking Hashem to allow all the malachim to strengthen him. Al loisarim milmala, and he should have no enemies above. And we're going to conclude today's share quoting the end of the Mishnah. How do we know that his vidui? How do we know his tshuva is accepted? Tanu Rabbanan Menayim keeper life. You do have Shenam Arvi Yomel Yeshua. Machar Tanu Yachra Shema Yomazah Yomazah Achar. V'yatav Achar Lo Ma'aba after tshuva. Ksev Bnei Zarach Zimri V'Itan V'Himan V'Chol Kel V'Darda. Kulo Chamisha Me'ai Kulam. Kulo Chamisha. Actually, one more time. And the pasuk is Kul Chamisha. Says the Gemara, my Kul Chamisha. Kul Chamisha ein loylam ha'ba. Ksev Zimri uksev Achan. Rav Shmuel Chadam Achan Shemai V'lam Nekeshmai Zimri. Shasa Maisa Zimri V'chadam Zimri Shemai V'lam Nekeshmai Achan. Shikram V'nasein Shal Yisrael. Why was he called Achan? Because he wound the Averos of Yisrael like a snake. He came. He caused Klal Yisrael to suffer their Averis. And in any Adel, his fathers, one does not know how to say Vidu, Rav Yudah Aimer, Lianakus is Atzman. Rav Yudah says, let my death be my kapara, Lianakus is Atzman. And the Mishnah concluded that the Chachamim say, if all convicted people would say this to clear themselves in the eye, Be'inei Hamoinam, Vayinaku Atzman, so let them do it, asked the Gemara. Why are we worried to disallow such form of Vidui? We don't want to be loitzi laz. We don't want people to talk in a negative way towards Bezdin and the Eidim. Tanara Abanan, and we conclude, they were taking someone out to execute. If I actually committed this crime, this misa should not be my kapara. Then and Bezdin and all of Klal Yisrael should be free of blame. Forever. They heard him saying these words. We can't bring him back to Bezdin. Rather, we have to kill him and let the collar responsibility hang b'tzavar eidim for the neck of the eidim. There's nothing we could do. Says Mershita, Kol Kamine. Is there anything else that we could do? Could this guy, with his words, cast integrity on the Bezdin? Of course not. Answers Gemara the case, the chiddush is that the witnesses backed out, but there's still nothing that could be done. Says Gemara, if the eidim backed out, when what's going on? We don't believe their later words, and therefore, the fact that they were chayzer is meaningless. The fact this guy is saying that they don't know what they're talking about is meaningless, and he should just be killed. He's giving a reason. He's explaining why he originally lied, and that's the chiddush. That in as much as his original edus is really null, but we can't believe this guy and we have to kill him. Pick it up from the Mishnah, B'siyata Dishmaya.